How someone can do everything right, arrive early, follow the rules, smile at the staff, and still end up watching their plane leave without them while their seat quietly goes to someone else. Because here's the uncomfortable reality most travelers never hear. Denied boarding is rarely about one big mistake. It's about a chain of small, invisible decisions that quietly stack up against you long before you even reach the gate. And I've seen this from the inside, as a travel planner, as someone who studies airport security behavior, and as a person who understands how airline systems actually think, not how they explain things to passengers. And it usually starts way earlier than people realize, sometimes the night before, sometimes the moment you book the ticket. Because mistake number one happens when you treat online check-in like an option instead of a signal. Because airlines don't just use check-in to give you a boarding pass, they use it to measure certainty, commitment, and reliability. And when you check in late or skip it entirely, especially on a full flight, the system quietly labels you as a possible no-show, even if you fully plan to fly. Then mistake number two creeps in when you arrive at the airport just in time. Because airports don't reward punctuality the way schools do. They reward buffers, margins, and predictability. And when you cut it close, even if you technically meet the rules, you introduce uncertainty into a tightly timed operation, and uncertainty is expensive. Then there's mistake number three, and this one shocks people because it's about talking too much, explaining too much, joking too much at security or check-in, because those conversations aren't social, they're behavioral assessments, and every extra word becomes data, tone becomes data, hesitation becomes data, even confidence can become data if it feels forced. Then mistake number four appears when your booking behavior looks inconsistent, like one-way tickets without context, last-minute purchases, sudden route changes, mixing loyalty accounts with non-loyalty fares. And none of this means you're suspicious as a person, but algorithms don't understand intent, they understand patterns, and patterns that change without explanation increase risk scores quietly. Then mistake number five happens at the gate itself, when anxiety shows up physically, pacing back and forth, repeatedly checking the screen, hovering near the desk, asking, "Is everything okay?" even when nothing looks wrong, because gate agents are trained to identify stress behaviors that correlate with disputes, missed connections, and boarding delays. Then mistake number six slips in when travelers treat seat assignments casually, asking for changes at the gate, switching seats with strangers, or ignoring boarding order. Because seats aren't just comfort decisions, they're balance calculations, weight distribution, and timing efficiency, especially on smaller or full aircraft. Then mistake number seven is boarding out of sequence, stepping forward just to ask something. Because from a system perspective, movement matters more than excuses, and cameras don't record intent, they record action. Then mistake number eight becomes physical, heavy carry-ons, overstuffed bags, items that technically fit but strain bins. Because when overhead space becomes a bottleneck, airlines prioritize speed, and speed requires removing friction, and friction often looks like passengers with too much stuff. Then mistake number nine is documentation complacency, assuming visas won't be checked, assuming transit rules don't apply, assuming it worked last time. Because airlines are legally responsible for transporting ineligible passengers, and when there's doubt, denial becomes the safer choice. Then mistake number 10 is emotional leakage, eye-rolling, sighing, sarcasm, jokes under pressure, because what feels harmless to you can read as resistance or instability to staff trained to de-escalate before problems start. Then mistake number 11 is traveling while visibly unwell, coughing heavily, appearing weak, feverish, or disoriented, because airlines can and do deny boarding for health risks, especially post-pandemic, and they don't need to explain it publicly. And finally, mistake number 12, the most dangerous one, is believing denied boarding only happens to careless travelers, because the system doesn't punish carelessness, it filters unpredictability, and the moment your behavior, timing, or data stops aligning smoothly with the operation, your seat becomes flexible, movable, replaceable. and most travelers never realize that many denied boarding decisions are made hours before boarding even begins, sometimes before you arrive at the airport, based on load factors, staffing, weather, connection risks, and historical behavior models. So when you stand at the gate confused and shocked, the truth is the decision may already be finalized, which feels unfair, I know, but it's also empowering once you understand it, because airports don't reward loud confidence, emotional reactions, or rule quoting. They reward predictability, calm, and invisibility. And that's why the safest traveler isn't the most experienced one, it's the one that blends in perfectly with expectations. So here's my honest suggestion if you want to protect your seat every single time you fly. Check in early online, arrive earlier than you think you need to, keep interactions short and calm, avoid unnecessary changes, travel light, respect boarding flow without exceptions, double-check every document even if you've flown the route before, manage your energy and body language, and above all, aim to look boring to the system, because boring means predictable, predictable means low risk, and low-risk travelers don't get denied boarding. And if you want more real airport survival strategies like this, subscribe to Golden Age Travel Tips, because smart travel isn't about flying more, it's about flying smarter, calmer, and always one step ahead.